In this video, we are going to learn what it means to say that a number is divisible by 2, how to tell easily if a number is divisible by 2, and when this is useful. A number is called divisible by 2 if we had that number of objects and could divide them into two groups of the same size. For example, if we had 6 pencils, we can divide them evenly into two groups of 3, so the number is divisible by 2. We know that if a number of objects can be divided into two groups of the same size, then the number of objects is an even number. So, even numbers are numbers that are divisible by 2. It is very easy to tell whether a number is even or odd just by taking a look at the last digit. If the last digit is a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, then the number is an even number. If the number ends in anything else, it is an odd number. So, to tell whether a number is divisible by 2, look at the last digit. If the last digit is a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, then the number is divisible by 2. If the number ends in anything else, the number is not divisible by 2. So, to summarize, the following three statements say the same thing. A number is even, a number is divisible by 2, and the last digit of a number is 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. Looking at the last digit to see if a number is divisible by 2 is called the divisibility test for 2. Now let's look at some numbers and decide whether or not they are divisible by 2. 88 is divisible by 2 because it is even. 457 is not divisible by 2 because it is odd. 7151 is not divisible by 2 because it is an odd number. 53,726 is divisible by 2 because it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. 231,494 is divisible by 2 because it ends in a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8. There is another way to tell if a number is divisible by 2. You can divide the number by 2 and see if there is a remainder. If there is no remainder, the number is divisible by 2. But doing a division either by hand or on a calculator takes much more time than just looking at the last digit. So it is worth learning this shorter way to tell if a number is divisible by 2. Let's look at an example of these two methods. We will first divide 5,739 by 2. 2 goes into 5 2 times. 2 times 2 is 4. Subtract to get 1. Drop down the 7. 2 goes into 17 8 times. 2 times 8 is 16. Subtract to get 1. Drop down the 3. 2 goes into 13 6 times. 2 times 6 is 12. Subtract to get 1. Drop down the 9. 2 goes into 19 9 times. 2 times 9 is 18. Subtract and get 1. Since there is a remainder, 5,769 is not divisible by 2. Now let's do it the easy way. We look at the last digit. Since it is not a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, we know that 5,739 is not divisible by 2. Let's summarize what we have learned in this video. A number is divisible by 2 if we had that number of objects and could divide them into two groups of the same size. A number is divisible by 2 if it is even. To tell if a number is divisible by 2, look at the last digit. If the last digit is a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, then the number is divisible by 2. One time when it is very useful to know whether a number is divisible by 2 is when simplifying fractions. So it is important to remember that the way to tell if a number is divisible by 2 is to look at the last digit. If the last digit of the number is a 0, 2, 4, 6, or 8, then the number is divisible by 2. If the last digit is anything else, then the number is not divisible by 2.